We won. We won. That is what I should tell you right at the top here. Piers Morgan, you owe me something like 150,000 US dollars. Brigitte Macron is a trans woman, and I think the fact that when Brigitte Macron... Okay.
As you know, Brigitte Macron is suing.
Let me finish the statement, Piers.
Okay, and I'll bet you. And what if we have like £100,000 bet? $100,000.
Make it rain, Piers. Make it rain. Okay. I want my money. I want my money. Where's my money?
Okay, so most of us have heard that Brigitte Macron's case against the two journalists that were saying that Brigitte Macron was born a man, that case, the defamation case, was thrown out by the French courts. And of course, from the surface, it looks like they're saying exactly what Candace is saying, that the court is tacitly saying that Brigitte Macron was born a man. But I don't think it says that. I don't think it says that. I'm willing to give Candace credit when Candace gets things right, but I don't think she's right here. The court is not saying that was born a man. What they're saying is that she doesn't have a defamation case against this journalist in this situation. That's all they're saying. But what I want you to do, if you don't mind, I'm just going to play the video, let you check it out and make a judgment for yourself. Jump out in the comments. Let me know what you think about it. Do you think that Candace is right? Because, you know, she's end zone dancing. She end zone dancing like the best of them. And I kind of understand why she would. But then again, when you think about it a little bit more, you're like, I don't think they're saying that. There's no test that's proving that this woman was born a man. There's nothing saying that she's a biological man or anything of that nature. Nothing. They're just saying that they don't have a defamation case. But let me know what you think. I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much. And let's go check out the video.
We won. We won. That is what I should tell you right at the top here. Piers Morgan, you owe me something like 150,000 US dollars. I'd like to shout out especially all my haters here right at the top who didn't believe me when I was all like, Brigitte Macron is a man. And instead, they decided to go with the mainstream media, the narrative that was just, Candace is unhinged. Brigitte Macron won for defamation. Well, that's no longer a thing. Because guess what? The journalist that she went after, two of them, they beat Brigitte in court. They have been acquitted in the higher court ruling. I'll tell you all about that. It's just been a bad day. Bad week, bad month, bad year for the Macrons. Anyways, fresh off of being fired for the Daily Wire, it was Piers Morgan who interviewed me first, and he had me on his show. And look, I like Piers, but I'm going to say he was trying to step on my head while I was already drowning. He just came to deliver that final blow, asking me all sorts of questions, implying that I was anti-Semitic because I was like saying what was happening in Gaza was wrong. I'll let you know he has since come over to my side. And he's about to come over on my side when it comes to Brigitte as well, because then he brings it up at the end. There was like an hour of us just clashing. I was exhausted. And at the end, he then tries to paint me as a crazy person and asks me about Brigitte. And don't worry, you guys, as tired as I was, I stood 10 toes down on this one. So let's put that on rewind.
But it's this question about the French First Lady, Brigitte Macron, who you keep saying is a man. You've produced zero evidence that she is a man. It's been deeply offensive to her husband, President Macron, to all of her family. You keep promoting it to millions of people that follow you. And I simply ask why. She's not a man, she's a woman.
I'm happy to answer the question. I think Brigitte Macron is a trans woman. And I think the fact that when Brigitte Macron... Okay.
But where's your evidence that she is?
Well, Piers, the thing is I'm not allowed to speak after you ask me a question, so I don't really know what the purpose of this is anymore. You just seem to kind of be saying your own thoughts. So I'm just going to be silent here and allow you to monologue.
Where is your evidence that Brigitte Macron is transgender?
Well, I did an entire series talking about where this came from. And first and foremost, you're pretending that I'm the one that promulgated this. In fact, it was 3 journalists in France that worked on the story for 3 years.
Right.
And they teamed up with genealogists and they came across, and it was absolutely fascinating. I read the entire report, and everybody watching this, rather than listen to Piers Morgan, giving you a bunch of adjectives. Ridiculous. It's awful. I can't believe that she's saying this. Why don't you go pursue a primary source? Why don't you go find the articles that were written by the French journalists? Because this did not come from me. This came from French journalists.
And while they were working,
let me finish the statement, Piers. Okay. While they were working on this piece, the Macrons sent their secret service to interrupt this. This is not a normal thing that you do when somebody's about to publish a lie. You would just say it's ridiculous, publish it, and we'll dispute it. They sent the secret service to intimidate these journalists. They took their phones. They held them. They wanted to know everyone who was working on the piece. And what they uncovered was absolutely fascinating. What they uncovered was the fact that Brigitte Macron, who alleges that the person that they are saying is her is actually her brother, who's never been seen and who they never produced, that Brigitte Macron lived as a man for 30 years and then transitioned at the age of 30. So he's trying to tell you this is crazy, this is wacky. Why don't you just go pursue a primary source?
Well,
I'm not the primary source. It would be very easy to dispute this. All Brigitte Macron would have to do is produce a single photo of her in the first 30 years of her life, or to go on a little walk with her brother, who she alleges that she is not. She refuses to do either. She's suing people, and the one photo that they keep producing is a photo of her daughter to phone that has been photoshopped. Let me get a word in, please.
Brigitte Macron, as you know, has a libel trial against Natasha Ray, who made the claims that the French First Lady was born a man called Jean-Michel Trogneux. It's due to take place imminently, and we will get to the bottom of this. And I'll bet you, why don't we have like £100,000 bet that it establishes beyond any doubt to a charity of your choice and mine, $100,000, make it dollars, right now, that it is established beyond any doubt that she was born a woman. Do you accept that bet?
Make it rain, Piers. Make it rain, okay? Because, look, first and foremost, 100,000 pounds. Can we look up what that means in U.S. dollars? Let's see what that... $136,000. I'll round it up. Let's round it up to $1 there. 136,000 U.S. dollars are mine, Piers. I'm not going to let you get away with this. I want my money. I want my money. Where's my money? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's how it started, and this is how it's going. Check out this headline. We are trending all over France. This is huge news. The women who claimed Brigitte Macron was born a man are cleared of defamation because that's how the truth works. It's amazing that they even initially got convicted because of corruption, of defaming the French First Lady. It was this false conviction that the media then touted out as a win, saying, see, she's not born a man. But that actually wasn't what was at root of the case, as many of you guys know that have been following the series. Anyways, what has happened today is that the judges that were sitting at the Paris Appeal Court on Thursday ruled that Amandine Roy, that is the 53-year-old clairvoyant, and Natasha Ray, and she has been absolutely fantastic. She's a 49-year-old journalist, blogger, and researcher that teamed up and first and foremost put Xavier Poussard onto this story when he was having trouble even finding basic facts about Brigitte. And she said, yeah, that's because Brigitte was born Jean-Michel Trogneux. And so now the court has ruled that they had every legal right to make those allegations. More specifically, Brigitte brought the case in regards to a 4-hour YouTube video broadcast where the two of these ladies were sitting down. And Brigitte is alleging that there were 18 instances of defamation. Well, the court has ruled that those 18 instances did not constitute defamation, or they were based in good faith. And like I explained throughout the series, they were never attacking, Brigitte was never attacking the claim that she was born a man. She was being super petty and trying to get them on a technicality of defamation for misspeaking. You know, they tried this with me. Oh, you said this photo was recolorized, but it wasn't actually recolorized. And then trying to get someone into the courtroom, and then the judge says, oh yeah, it wasn't recolorized. And you go, oh, look, we won. It was defamation to suggest that this photo was recolorized when it wasn't. That was the game that they were playing so that they could give the journalists something to tout out as a win. Now they've come back and said, you know what? That's not enough. Okay. That is actually not enough. These women did not defame you. And so their lawyers were cheering outside of court. I can't imagine what it feels like for Natasha Ray and Amandine Roy. Natasha Ray got sick with cancer throughout this. Brigitte did not care, has been attacking these women for being the first to expose what is so obviously true. And it's a major win. That's all we can really say. Both of these women had claimed that they were subjected throughout this time to intimidation by the authorities, by these ultra-protected members of the Paris establishment, these sick, perverted members of the Paris establishment that were trying to cover up a state secret. Why does it feel like this is happening everywhere in the world? Why does it feel like some perverted individuals are actually running the entire globe? Anyways, lawyers for Brigitte have said that they are devastated by this ruling, that they plan to take this now to the highest court in the French judicial system. And let me tell you, they're going to lose because Brigitte Macron is a man, was born a man, and so therefore she will die a man. Doesn't matter whether you put on lipstick on a pig, it will still die a pig. And it's time for Brigitte to stop harassing women in general. Men should not be harassing women, full stop. She harassed me when I was pregnant, sending people to my door. Just cut it out, okay? Now, it's pretty obvious that the journalists are already going to try to move the goalposts here. I couldn't believe this. I touted this win on X, and this journalist, American journalist, Yashar Ali, is just trying to gaslight us some more. All right, this is his tweet about the win. He writes, Candace, what evidence would satisfy you? Would you have to examine Brigitte Macron yourself? I feel like you would accept nothing less. No, actually, we would accept like a lot less. So I just want to be very clear, in case it hasn't been clear from the beginning. Maybe just some photos growing up with your brother, some photos of your first marriage, which lasted more than a decade of your life. You allegedly had 3 kids, some photos of you in the hospital, giving birth to those kids, raising those kids, growing up with those kids that you allege that you raised. We don't need to conduct a medical exam at this moment, just some photographic evidence that you existed for the first 30 years of your life. That would be great. Maybe wedding photos. I assume you took tons of wedding photos. Can we see who the maid of honor was? Just proof that it was you. I feel like we're not asking for a lot. How about school photos? Xavier Poussard won, by the way, in court because for whatever reason, the school that Brigitte went to does not want to release the photo of Brigitte at school. And so when Xavier went to the school and said, actually, I won in court, you have to release this, the school said, don't care, we're not releasing it. That would do. School photos, I think. So this is a really low bar we're setting to prove that you existed for 30 years. You could go for a walk with your brother now, answer some questions, refuses to do absolutely everything. So you're not going to gaslight us for asking for a bare minimum requirement here. Okay. Anyways, we know that it's not completely over, ladies and gentlemen, because it's not going to be over until the man in the wig sings.
Did you know that I can see you?